Hey heroes, welcome in. We are your hosts for hire. I am Kyle Cage. This is Lucas Rand. We wanted to get into a little bit of our upset ideas here. We call it spilled milk because we like to cry over small things.
Yes, so much like most comic book fans, we get harped up about really small things and also really big things, right? And so in our last episode, we were talking about some next level hating that Reverse Flash has put out to Barry Allen. And so we wanted to put out a little next level hating of our own. So this whole episode is going to be shit talking. We're just going
Pretty
to
much,
be hating all, not all, obviously, because we have so many gripes, but just a few of our top gripes currently.
specifically with superhero content, with
Yes.
some video games, we might get into. Let us know in the comments below what your gripes are with content that's come out in the last,
Yes.
5 years or so, or 10
Yeah,
years,
let us know if
just
you
all
agree with what
time.
we're saying. If you completely disagree, let's open a dialogue.
Let's discuss. Tell us why. Check out our other content at Hosts4Hire podcast with the number 4. That's Hosts4Hire podcast. We're trying to get to that 10K on YouTube. Help push us there. We got a ton of content on there. I'm sure there's something on there you'll find interesting. And if not, comment below this video. We'll make a video that you'll find interesting, hopefully. Help us collaborate and make it with
Yes,
us. We had
absolutely.
another hero. He's an honorary superhero, Edgewise CL. Going to shout him out. He gave us an episode idea. We would love if more of you were to
Yeah,
join
we just
that
did it last
train.
week. Actually, we just dropped that episode.
Yep.
But yeah,
All right. First and foremost, what comes to mind first thing when you think about gripes, your spilled milk?
something that one thing that is pretty recent is Venom: The Last Dance. I just didn't like any of the Venom movies, man. Venom's one of my very favorite characters, top 3, right? Uh, on first watch throughs, I've enjoyed the movies, except for the second one. The second one I never liked, not even one
Just
watch through.
because
They
of
just
what they
ruined
did with
Carnage.
Carnage, yeah.
Really, or more accurately, they ruined Cletus Cassidy, which ruins Carnage,
Yeah.
and that was just a real bummer to me. But they've all just been lackluster. They've just jumped from one main villains to main villain to main villain on each movie. There's been no build up. There's been,
Well, and those were
you know,
supposed to be the anchor movies for the SSU, the Sony Spider-Man universe,
yeah, which just
and none of them linked together to any other ones. I was talking to my brother the other day who has a very controversial opinion about Madam Web. He is adamant that I watch it. Granted, I haven't watched it, so I can't really give an opinion. He loved that movie. Let us know in the comments if you loved it or
yeah,
hated it and why. But my point is that he was unaware that that movie was connected to the Venom movies, to the Morbius movie. That's like really, that's just poor universe building.
yes,
It's just not
which
done well.
is a Sony thing. They've been just letting us down on that over and
Amazing
over and over and
Spider-Man.
over. Don't say it, Kyle. Don't say it.
That Sinister Six movie that we could have gotten.
We did not mention Andrew Spider-Man, Kyle. It hurts the heart. It hurts the
It's
heart,
truly
doesn't it?
painful, truly painful. But going along with that, I think one of the big things that they need to do to keep building this multiverse in the MCU is fold in the Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer into the MCU well. The
Yeah.
Silver Surfer needs to be done well.
I'm glad you brought that up because I am nervous about how this version of the Fantastic Four that we're about to see, how they're going to come to what we know as our universe, as the MCU, right?
And why?
Right. I'm very curious because, yeah, I guess that's all I can say is that I'm just nervous and curious about that. But
I just want to.
mostly is Silver Surfer, bro.
Yeah.
Like to me, like I don't care about gender swaps and stuff a majority of the time, but sometimes I do, and in some cases I care a lot. And this one is one that I care a lot, and
See,
it's
what's
like
interesting for me is this isn't a gender swap in my view because it's not. It's
it's a
not
character swap.
It's not Noreen Rad. It's
Yeah,
Shala
it's
Ball. It's an
right. It's a
alternate
character swap.
reality where Shala Ball becomes the Silver Surfer instead of Norrin Rad.
Yeah,
So like as long as they keep the essence of the character the same, I think I'll enjoy it.
That's why I was about to say that this is one where obviously I'm going to wait until the movie comes out to really make my judgment, right? Because that's what we need to do more a little bit as comic
please,
book
can we
fans.
stop
Jesus
acting
Christ.
like we can see the future and we know that the Superman's going to be bad or that?
Yeah, Fantastic Four is going to be bad or like whatever. So I'm obviously going to wait to see. But that being said, I think if Silver Surfer just as a solo character isn't done right, to me it'll ruin the whole movie.
Same.
You know what I mean?
You have a more personal connection. We talked about this in a couple other
like
episodes. You
love
watched it
Silver
with your
Surfer.
dad.
Yeah,
Like it was
my
like the
favorite character
comic
growing
and
up.
show that you watched. It was like it's a formative experience with your father. But even for me, I just loved the show as a kid growing up, and it's still important to me, you know. So I can only imagine how important it is for people like you.
Rise of the Silver Surfer was terrible. I loved that movie because of that one chase scene with him and Johnny.
I mean, that hasn't been topped. That hasn't been topped to this day. It's been 20 years.
We need to top that. We need to top that in this
years
Fantastic
and we haven't
Four
topped
movie.
it.
If we don't top that in this Fantastic Four movie, I will be let down.
I just had a thought though. Maybe they have to come to our universe because their planet gets eaten. Because Galactus just eats their planet. They aren't able to stop
and they lose. And like, because like,
it's interesting.
Very interesting.
And I wonder if Shalla is going to be the Silver Surfer in the main MCU or if Silver Surfer is going to be in it even, you know?
Or like she's the Silver Surfer from that universe, and in our universe, there's going to be a Norrin Rad, and maybe they'll get to
meet. That would be
cool.
would be awesome because the that's the things you can do with the multiverse that really would excite fans.
Yes,
instead of the stupid shit.
See, that's a type of like if you're going to gender bend or do stuff that is going to elevate the writing, like in my opinion, happened with like the Ancient One and I'm spacing. But like there's certain characters where it elevates.
Captain Carter.
Agreed. Big agree. There's certain yes, exactly right. There's certain character where it elevates because the writing is elevated with it. And then there's certain like race bends, gender bends where they're just doing it for the sake
of doing it.
That's
which for the most part is fine, but I would prefer, in a perfect world, we would create original characters with their own backstories and their own, you know,
like there's so many badass female characters, so many that are untapped still. I'm hoping we're going to tap into a lot of them when we see X-Men come in, you know, because a lot of them are mutants. You know, there's a lot of badass female.
Which there's already the people who, are, in my opinion, are absolutely ridiculous who call it the MCU and say that the females are taking over. I actually was just watching a video about how in Endgame they had that whole girl power moment and they were like,
that was dope.
It was dope, but there were like 5 of them. You know what I mean? Like they had just killed Black Widow. Gamora was dead. I don't know. So the fact that people that call it the MCU, they're dumb. They don't understand. There's so many male characters, overwhelmingly more.
That brings me to a lovely next spilled milk gripe of mine, and that's that currently right now, man, we have comic book fans suck sometimes, dude. You're just talking. It's the same people that are calling it the MCU and complain about having like one movie that is about the Black Widow, where it's a very female centric. Like one out of like 28. But I digress. It's the same people complaining about Sam's cap right now, and that like that's not Captain America.
And it's the same people who complain about comic book accuracy. It's a Venn diagram and it's a circle.
I know, dude.
It's just a solid circle.
It's so frustrating. Because one, Sam does become Cap in the comics. 2, Anthony Mackie, specifically, everything he's talking about, that is Captain America. That is the essence of what
And those are the two sides I see, is that there's the people who understand that that's actually what Captain America stands for in the comics, is not America, but the ideals of America.
Right.
And he will defend those at any
Captain
cost.
America, extraordinarily anti-fascist.
Like, you know, Civil War happens because he goes against the government. I don't like. They're like one of their most popular and longest and best-selling storylines is entirely about how Steve Rogers, Captain America, would agree with everything that Anthony Mackie has been saying, and Chris Evans had said pretty much the same shit 10 years ago in the past, but no one cares about that because he's white. Like,
there's a deleted
that's the reality.
scene that it's an Age of Ultron where it's like a graffiti of Cap's face with a fascist across it, and he's wearing the helmet. It's like the Captain America helmet with the word fascist across it, like using the A as like fascist.
As the A in fascist, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he sees the graffiti and takes his helmet off, throws it off, and he doesn't wear it ever again.
Yeah, for the rest of the MCU.
Yep.
Like, see, like why cut that scene? That's so powerful.
Bro. Agreed.
Even just the thought of it chills. You know what I mean? Like, that's so powerful.
That's what Captain America is. You know what I mean? And like what Anthony Mackie's talking about in those interviews about what it is to be Captain America is 100% on the nose of what it is like to be the comic book version of Steve Rogers. Not even the comic book version of Sam. But like that's what the comic book version of Steve Rogers stands for right there.
100%
and
agree.
I hate people that can't get with that.
Yeah. Which, you know, to each their own, but like let people enjoy what they enjoy. And don't just fill it with hate. Like, if you have nothing good to say, my mom always said growing up, if you have nothing good to say, don't say anything at all.
Yep, and that's one of those
which is counterintuitive to this entire episode. But I still stand by it.
My dad used to say, "Do as I say, not as I do."
We put them together, and we have a spilled milk episode.
This brings us to how long are we going here? We got some more time. We got some more time to gripe. Yeah. We got more time to gripe. Kyle, that I know gets you hot because I've been hot. Now I'm gonna get you hot. Zack Snyder.
You didn't have to say the last name. I was already hot. You said the first name, and I knew. This guy.
Snyderverse.
Okay, first off,
he created the worst fandom.
There's a couple things.
To man.
I want to start off by saying he created two of my favorite movies growing up.
300
and Watchmen. Watchmen got me into the comics. I didn't love the movie so much after reading the graphic novel. But it was good enough to get me into that entire genre, like indie comics. I didn't.
None of it's to say that we think Zack Snyder is a bad director or any actors that we complain about on this podcast are bad actors. It's all just bad comic book content
and our personal opinions.
Right?
Obviously, there's going to be people who vehemently disagree. There's the Snyder.
There's so many Snyderverse fans, Kyle. That's what I'm saying. He created the worst fandom in comic book history. I think it's the worst one.
They refuse to acknowledge anything else coming forward.
Like, and they refuse to acknowledge that like it was shut down for a reason, brothers in Christ.
They don't stop making movies because they're making money. Like. You know, if the movies are making money, it doesn't matter how bad they are. They make more of them. They're about to
I prefer DC over Marvel. Characters-wise, worlds-wise, I'm a DC fan. If you were to ask me if I had to choose one, I would choose DC. So I wanted those movies to be good more than anything ever. Like, we would go to opening days on all of those shitty movies with just hope in our hearts. Yeah. and always, barring like the first Wonder Woman,
even the first time watching
Black Adam.
The
first Aquaman I enjoyed as well.
The first watch throughs of like Man of Steel, of Aquaman, Wonder Woman. Actually, Wonder Woman still holds up. It might be the only one other than maybe Shazam and Black Adam that hold up. Yeah. And the even Shazam does. The second one's off. For the most part, though, they made 9 movies or something like that, and they were mostly critical failures. And I get with Justice League, they did, screw Zack Snyder a little bit by messing with
the whole Joss
changing
Whedon
it around.
Thing, yeah.
But then they built up this Zack Snyder's Justice League director's cut, and it was worse.
Yeah,
it was only better in one aspect, and it was Henry Cavill's upper lip wasn't absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'll say that in the Snyderverse, they actually use Flash to go backwards in time. and Flash and Cyborg are more of the heroes in the Snyder Cut end fight scene, rather than Superman just comes in and just like, ends it all.
Yeah, point is, the Snyder Cut
But
was better than Joss Whedon's Justice
not
League,
much, brothers.
but not by much. I don't understand how there can be such a rabid cultist-like fan base behind these movies. And
there was 30 minutes of slow motion.
If
in a
not
4-hour
exaggerating,
movie.
someone broke it down in a 4-hour movie. If you removed the slow mo in Zack Snyder's Justice League, it would be a full 30 minutes shorter. That's unnecessary. That's insane. That's crazy. And like as a director,
crazy.
He's actually not that horrible of a director, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so either.
The writing is atrocious. People act like the Martha scene is peak writing and that people didn't understand it and that you're dumb if you didn't understand that his mom having the same name made him realize he's a human, like he's a person and not just an all-powerful alien. Like, yeah, everyone understood that. That's still just a terrible way to write him to understand that. You know, there's so many more things they could have done. Worst part about that whole thing, the fact that Lois Lane, who had no idea what the spear was for, why was she there? Why there was a god man fighting a man in a super robot suit, and she's there? What the?
You know how much I hate Lois Lane as a character, like
because of those movies, really though.
Yes, and like it's just like for some reason, like I get that her character is kind of like an action reporter. It's what gives her purpose is to be in the shit. You know, like, and I respect it, and that's cool. But like, bruh, there's times in the comics and the movies and cartoons, Superman is fighting Doomsday. Like, Martian Manhunter is on the ground, like, bleeding, dying. And fucking Lois Lane is there. Like, bitch.
With a camera guy.
Get the fuck out of here.
Like, that cameraman doesn't make enough money to be there. What are you doing?
He's not winning Pulitzer prizes, dude.
Yeah, no, that's just you, lady. Like, goddamn.
Freaking,
I could go on for days about how bad the Snyderverse is. Gonna bring it to a little bit lighter of a note, I think. Personally, this is gonna sound really random and way out of left field. There should have been a second Power Rangers movie. I know it was bad. Don't come at me in the comments.
The live action
I know it was
one?
terrible. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. The Green Ranger, they set it up. They set up the whole
everything up. Shit. And then they just didn't do anything.
Have some patience. At least, yeah, I agree. I actually agree with that.
There was a lot wrong with that movie. Goldar looked horrible. The fact that he was massive and like that was just dumb. But this, like, all of the Zords looked amazing. They set up Tommy to come in.
I didn't like the suits personally.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that they went like kind of far into the alien aspect of it. I would have like kind of preferred the more like mechanical Mighty Morphin looking armor suits.
Yeah, it looked a little bit more like how Alpha 5 looked. You know, where like their suits were similar because they would be. You know, it would make sense.
Yes. But no, I 100% agree with that. We deserved to see Tommy. We deserved to see like at least a shitty version of the second movie.
Yeah, I would have. Even if the second movie was bad, I would have still seen it. I owned the first movie.
We were just talking about the Snyderverse. Maybe I watched every single one of those movies multiple times. Like I love this shit, but sometimes it's bad.
Yeah,
you just have to be objective. I'm gonna watch it. I watched the Fantastic Four, the second rendition with Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller.
Yeah.
I watched the fuck out of that. It's so bad, Kyle. It's so bad.
I would like to know your thoughts. I just saw a post that was like a fan casting as Miles Teller as the Maker, as a Maker version. That would be dope, right?
In my opinion, none of the cast. I don't know who the actress for Invisible Woman was, but Michael B. Jordan as Johnny, Miles Teller as Mr. Fantastic. The thing I didn't like the look of them and the casting was not the issue.
No,
like even the Doctor Doom actor, like I thought that he was good. The actors weren't the issue. It was like the writing, the directing, the overall vision of what the movie was.
Yep. You know, I feel the same way about Batfleck. Like, he could have been a really good Batman. He's not, in my opinion. I understand he's a lot of people's favorites. but we didn't get enough of him, and he wasn't given the opportunity. I feel bad for Ben Affleck because he's talked about for years how he's always wanted to play Batman.
The best allegory I can think for it is he was treated like Hulk in the Avengers, where his story was told in the Justice League movies only, and like in the Culmination movies only,
And it wasn't really
and
told.
it wasn't told. Like,
especially because his story isn't like the
it was
Hulk's.
worse than
It
Hulk
needs to be told.
Right. You know? But yeah, you guys, tell us how you felt about all the spilled milk. We got a puddle of milk.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. We're sorry.
But tell us what you agree with. Tell us what you disagreed with. Why you thought like and like explain it to us. Like we said, we want to open a dialogue. We want to talk to you guys. We can make more episodes debating.
Yeah,
if you want to have like a debate.
We'll shout you out if you convince us one way or the other. We'll shout you out.
Yeah.
We'll bring you up and say, hey, this person, this hero, they really talked us into this, and here's why.
Yeah.
Also, let us know in the comments below any suggestions that you have for future episodes. Anything that you want to see us talk about, any content that you want to see us review or just discuss. Just let us know. That's what we're here for. We're trying to elevate everything.
Yes.
We're trying to have less spilled milk and more of the good stuff.
Right. Yes, we want more strawberry milk.
It's disgusting. You're a gross human being.
Strawberry milk, bro.
It's the worst flavored milk.
It's the only one I like. I hate milk. It's the only one I can tolerate.
Just kidding. Chocolate milk is
blasphemous.
You know, I just thought of something that I've never done, and like as an adult, now that I'm a grown man who can go buy strawberry chocolate milk, Lucas.
Neapolitan milk. Throw a little white milk in there,
dude. Maybe a little vanilla ice cream. Make a milkshake. Strawberry chocolate milk vanilla shake.
You know me. I'm not a milk guy.
I don't want your warm milk, Liam.
You guys. Please go into and subscribe at Hosts4Hire. That's Hosts4Hire podcast with the number 4. We are trying to get to that 10K, like Kyle said at the beginning. Getting us there would be just like, this already is a crazy, weird thing to have 5,000
The fact that
people.
we're talking to anyone right now is weird to us. So thank you for listening.
Yes, and tell your friends and tell everyone that you know so that we can get to that 10,000, so we get to that 100,000, so we can get to that million perhaps one day in 10 years. We can just
start doing this, hopefully.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
The whole point, though, is to try and elevate. So help us do that, please.
And we will see you guys on the next episode.